There is a mountain in front of you. You cannot see the top. Every step you take is uncertain. Every jump might be your last, and somewhere deep inside, a voice is telling you that you were never meant to make it this far. That voice has a name in this game, and learning how to deal with it might just change the way you deal with it in your real life too. Welcome to the Inventor realm, and today we are talking about one of the most quietly powerful video games ever made, Celeste. Celeste was released worldwide on January 25, 2018, across Microsoft Windows, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Mac OS, and Linux. But before it became a critically acclaimed masterpiece, it started as something almost nobody was paying attention to. Development began in August 2015 when two game developers, Maddie Thorson and Noel Berry, participated in a game jam. A game jam is a short event where developers challenge themselves to build a complete game in a very limited time. They created the original version in just 4 days for a tiny experimental gaming platform called the PIC-08. The result was a brutally difficult platformer with 30 levels built for precision and speed. What they did not know yet was that this small weekend experiment was going to become something much bigger. Full work on the expanded version of the game started around January 2016. After 2 years of development, it was released across multiple platforms in January 2018. Thorson and Berry wanted the gameplay to be minimal but meaningful. They drew inspiration from classic NES and Super NES-era platformers. They also wove in themes from Thorson's own personal experiences with bouldering and mental health. The result was a game that felt like it had been built not just to challenge your fingers. It challenged something deeper: your patience with yourself, your willingness to fail, and your belief that you can keep going even when everything feels impossible. Thorson later told Kotaku that the development of the game and its story was a direct reflection of the things she was personally feeling at the time. She explained that the game was meant to reflect overcoming depression and anxiety on an individual and personal level. That honesty shows in every single screen of the game. This was never just a product, it was a confession wrapped inside a platformer. When Celeste launched, it received universal acclaim from critics. It was widely considered one of the best games of 2018. It won the Best Independent Game Award at the Game Awards 2018. It also won the Games for Impact Award. The game was even nominated for Game of the Year. Celeste has an overwhelmingly positive review score on Steam. It has sold over 1.7 million copies on that platform alone. By the end of 2019, it had sold over 1 million copies total. The game far exceeded the expectations of its creators. It also became an instant hit in the speedrunning community. For a 2-person indie project that started in a weekend, those numbers are staggering. Now, if you have never played Celeste, here is what the game actually is. You play as Madeline. She is a young woman dealing with anxiety and depression. She sets out to climb a fictional mountain called Celeste Mountain. During her climb, she encounters several characters. She also encounters a personification of her own self-doubt. This darker version of herself is nicknamed Madeline. Madeline repeatedly tries to stop her from reaching the summit. The story is told in short, quiet moments between the platforming sections. It never feels preachy or forced. It feels real because it is real. It came directly from the people who made it. The core gameplay is built around Madeline's movement abilities. She can climb walls. She can perform a single air dash in any direction. She can execute wall jumps. She also has a limited stamina meter. That stamina meter determines how long she can cling to a surface. These mechanics sound simple, but they stack on top of each other in ways that become incredibly nuanced as the game progresses. Each level introduces new gimmicks, springs, moving platforms, hazardous walls, gravity-shifting zones. Mastering the timing of these interactions is what separates players who struggle from players who flow through the mountain like water. If you are thinking about playing Celeste for the first time, here is what you genuinely need to know before you press start. Madeline's air dash is the single most important mechanic in the entire game. It is not just a tool for crossing gaps. It is your recovery system, your problem solver, and your safety net when a jump goes slightly wrong. Learning how to use it early will determine how far you get. Learning where to save it is equally important. The game only gives you one dash per jump, so you have to think before you use it. Plan your path, scan the room, identify where you are landing, and only then commit to the dash. One of the most important habits to build early in Celeste is patience. Rushing through sections will lead to frustration and unnecessary failure. The best players in the world did not get good by going fast. They got good by slowing down, studying enemy patterns, watching how platforms move, and finding the rhythm of each section before committing to it. This is actually one of the things that makes Celeste such an unusual game. In a world full of games that reward aggression and speed, this one rewards stillness and observation. The game integrates checkpoints throughout each chapter. These checkpoints allow you to respond quickly without losing significant progress. Using these checkpoints strategically will make the experience far less frustrating. Treat each section between checkpoints as its own small puzzle to solve. Die, respawn, learn, die again, respawn again, learn again. The game itself tells you from the very beginning that dying is not failure. It is education. As you get deeper into the game, you will encounter B-sides and C-sides. These are alternate, far harder versions of each chapter. The C-sides are short but brutally difficult. They are designed to test whether you have truly mastered every mechanic the game has taught you. Completing a C-side is considered a major achievement in the Celeste community. And beyond that, Golden Strawberries challenge you to complete an entire chapter without dying even once. Even experienced players find this challenge genuinely demanding. These optional challenges exist not to punish you. They exist to give you a reason to keep pushing after you thought you had reached your limit. One of the most important features in the game for new players is assist mode. It is honestly one of the most thoughtful design decisions in all of gaming. Assist mode offers options like infinite stamina, slower game speed, invincibility, and extra air dashes. It is designed to make the game more accessible to a wider audience. At the same time, it maintains the same core mechanics and level design. Using assist mode does not lock you out of any story content or achievements. If you are really struggling with a particular section, turning on infinite dash alone can completely change how the game feels. There is no shame in using these tools. The game was designed with the explicit belief that every player deserves to experience the story, regardless of how skilled they are. In terms of where to play it, the Steam version on PC is widely recommended. It frequently receives deep discounts, sometimes as much as 75% off. That often brings the price down to around $5. It also offers automatic save syncing and access to beta updates. Celeste is also available on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, Xbox One. It has also been part of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. No matter which platform you prefer, the experience is the same. A mountain, a girl, and a voice telling her she does not belong up there. Now here is the part of Celeste that people do not expect when they first hear about a pixel art platformer. It is also the reason this game has genuinely changed lives. Academic research has found that the stories in Celeste aim to help players learn how to cope with mental health problems such as depression and anxiety. It does this through interactive experiences and social cognitive learning. The game is not just representing mental health. It is actively teaching coping mechanisms through the way you play it. Madeline's drive to climb the mountain functions as a metaphor for anxiety and depression. People who experience these conditions know the invisible walls they can build. Barriers that seem insurmountable, barriers that quietly eat away at self-worth. Playing through Celeste with that lens in mind gives the experience an entirely different weight. Every time you fail and try again, you are not just practicing a jump, you are practicing something real. Early in the game, a message appears on screen telling players to be proud of their death count. Because the more they die, the more they are learning. This measured persistence becomes a direct parallel to Madeline's own emotional resilience. For adults who deal with anxiety, perfectionism, or fear of failure, this reframing is genuinely powerful. The game does not just tell you that failure is okay. It builds failure into its reward structure, and it forces you to sit with it until it no longer scares you. Research has shown that games like Celeste help players develop emotional resilience. They offer a safe space to experience and overcome challenges, particularly in relation to anxiety and depression. The safety of a video game world allows you to rehearse emotional responses, frustration, perseverance, self-compassion, without real-world consequences. By the time you reach the summit of the mountain in Celeste, you have failed hundreds of times, sometimes thousands, and you got up every single time. One player and writer described how the game expanded her toolkit for managing anxiety. It did so by giving her a visual calming exercise to control her breathing during panic attacks. This references a specific mechanic in the game. Madeline focuses on a feather to regulate herself. That mechanic is not decorative, it is functional. It mirrors actual breathing exercises used in cognitive behavioral therapy. And it is embedded inside a game moment so naturally that you barely notice it is happening. For adults, particularly those between their 20s and early 30s who are juggling work pressure, identity questions, and the general exhaustion of modern life, Celeste hits differently. The themes of self-forgiveness resonate deeply. The idea that parts of yourself you have been trying to escape are actually the parts that will carry you forward. The message that asking for help does not disqualify you from success. These are not themes for teenagers. These are themes for people who have been carrying weight for a long time, people who are quietly wondering if they are strong enough. The climax of Celeste reinforces this message. Madeline ultimately succeeds by fully accepting every part of herself, including the parts she spent the whole game trying to outrun. The adversities overcome by the player culminate in a new ability. That ability only becomes available after a critical moment of personal growth. This is ludonarrative harmony at its finest. The story and the gameplay are telling the exact same message, at the exact same moment, in a way that no other medium could replicate. If you have been feeling like the mountain in front of you is too steep, maybe this game was made for exactly that moment. If the voice in your head has been louder lately, maybe this game was made for exactly that moment. If you keep trying and keep falling and keep wondering why you bother, maybe this game was made for exactly that moment. Celeste sold over 1 million copies because people recognized something true inside it. Something that felt like it was written about them. Play it on whatever platform you have. Use assist mode if you need it. Let yourself fail. Let yourself get back up. And subscribe to the Inventor Realm so you never miss the next deep dive. Because we are just getting started on this mountain.